Hey, this is Bubba on the road. I am down here at, I just got a messenger message, so I'm looking at it. It's the Scenic View fruit stand, and it's here at Shab Row. Now, Shab Row is a little area in Frederick that is used to be just rundown buildings, and they redid it, fancied it up, and now they have a lot of antique shops. Now, to tell you the truth, I have never been in any of these shops because I'm not one of those foo-foo kind of people like, oh, it's high-end, I'm going to go there. No, if somebody claims they're high-end, Bubba ain't going in there. So I've actually never been in any of these shops, but they have like handcrafted fine pottery, gift jewelry. They're called the Little Pottery Shop. What a catchy name. The one across the street is... Now we have big trucks here, so you may not hear me. But so again, it's Shab Row, and it really is a good thing, even though I haven't actually been to any of the stores. It's a good thing because these were all rundown buildings. They were all like, falling down and all that, and they turned them into nice businesses. Now, this is Frederick Clay Studio, so I assume that makes clay products. You make them there, right? I would think. Pottery classes for adults. And I'll just tell you what pops in my head the minute I see pottery classes for adults is me doing the scene from Ghost with the pottery stuff flying everywhere. That's the first thing that comes into my mind. Pottery classes for adults. The Frederick Coffee Shop, the Frederick Fudge and Ice Cream, the Winder Company. Please, no parking, loading only. Now, this is where the sign is, and this is where the street is. Where would you have room to park? Hello? So anyway, again, that's a bus. That's the Frederick Transit. I rode that when I was a kid. I haven't ridden the Frederick Transit in so long. The last time I rode it, I fell off my dinosaur. Okay, so across there on the other side is the wool, fabric, hand-dyed linens and threads. Then they have the Stone Hearth Bakery, the green building up there. TLC, I guess TLC, the television network, is right here stationed in Frederick. So I'm doing a little walkthrough to give you a little feel. This is Shab Row, a nice little quiet community where you can come and think about life. But the Stone and Hearth Building Bakery used to be a little store, a little community store. Food Lion, Shab Row, food shops and offices. So we have a little bit of everything here on Shab Row. Now you will see across the way there's Roads and Rails Museum. Now I don't know if that's open this late at night because the place here has, now that's conflicting signs. In the one window, they're closed. In the next window, hello, we're open for business. So who knows? I guess if you can get in, shop. If not, forget it. So I'm going to walk a little bit up. This is now, is it? Yes. It's 2nd Street. So I'm going to walk up 2nd Street. I'm going to cross over. And then I'm going to go over to the Roads and Rails Museum and tell you a couple of stories about that building. The reason I'm walking up this way is the Catholic Church is up here, St. John's Catholic Church. I've attended there a couple of times. I had a friend who worked at MedSource, and one year she was devout Catholic, and one year she wanted me to bring my guys to Easter Mass with her. So we had never been to Mass before, so I said, well, I don't know. And she said, let's go to the folk Mass. So it was in the back of the church. It wasn't in the main sanctuary. And they had, they played guitar and sang. It was very nice, and I enjoyed it very much. And they have a part of the ceremony where you give you bless each other. I think, there's a phrase you say, and I can't remember what it is. It may be, bless you or something. And I did not know that that's what it was. So I'm in there telling people, hey, how are you? Everybody's giving me the blessing, the traditional blessing, and I'm giving you the, hey, how are you doing? So, but we had a nice time, and she was a wonderful person. It was Michelle's aunt, and I really liked her very much. And we also went to ball games together with her. Her name was Gail. Some of you may remember Gail. It was quite a few years ago. She's since passed on, but and her funeral was right there at that church. She attended there, and she had moved away and then came back, and her funeral was there, and I did attend that, and it was very nice. And then I think our cousin Homer had a funeral. There was a couple of funerals I went to there, and then of course we went to the Christmas Mass. You'll see, if you look on my page under the pictures of the guys, you'll see pictures of them all dressed, all of us in suits, and that was the day we went to Sunday Mass for Easter. And it was very nice, and I enjoyed it. And then Frederick has a really nice thing they do they call the houses of worship by candlelight on the holidays. And it's not Christmas night or anything, but it's somewhere during the holidays, and they open all the churches up, and you can go in and just sit for however long, and they will do, I call it their traditional music, whoever's the usual groups that are there perform, and they had cookies and milk and juice and whatever, blah 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 blah, as I like to say. And they're very nice, and they have all the churches open. And a couple of years I took my original guys, that was Eugene, Albert, and Mo, and we would go to that and go to all the different churches. We even went to the Jewish synagogue that used to be down here on 2nd Street at the other end. It's no longer there, but we did previously go down there. So anyway, I went to tonight I went to the, they have a little fruit stand there. So I got some peaches and got some green beans. Of course, I don't eat green beans, but Lisa likes them, so I got her some of them. And I was looking for some tart apples, so they recommended a kind, and that's what I got. Sure. And so here's I think this used to be the school, but I think the school has moved. The school is no longer downtown. I think it's out in the outskirts of Frederick. But I used to deliver papers up the street in the mornings. So I've mentioned before that I was a morning and an afternoon paper boy. So I was the paper boy in this. So imagine 40 years ago, little Bubba on his bike with the newspapers and throwing them to the houses and delivering them. So this was one of my streets. I delivered most of the downtown area. I had a pretty big route. But in the morning they didn't get as many papers, so you would have more streets. Like in the afternoon, one person would do 2nd Street. But so that's what I did. So again, this is the old St. John's School, I think. Yeah, the Visitation Academy, and it was founded in 1846. For those of you keeping track. So again, this is the Visitation Academy, but it's no longer here. But of course, the building is still standing. So I'm going to take a few pictures as I go, because I actually am not going to come back and take pictures. So any pictures you see later on my page, and that's facebook.com/michaelfry/takes-too-many-pictures/tour-around-frederick/.com, and you'll see the pictures. But so here we are. We have made it to the Catholic Church. So this is one block up. So now I'm going to have to go on the other side of the street after I take a few pictures, show you the church. And again, it's a beautiful church. And they have a beautiful steeple with the time. That's one of the things I love about Frederick, wherever you are. You can see the steeples rising up. So this is St. John, the Evangelist Catholic Church. And that's very nice. And this is it. So I'm going to turn the camera so that you can see it. This is the church. And you see all the birds up at the top flying around. And it's very beautiful inside, but we're not going to, like, one thing I like to do the little tours of the churches and show you the outsides, but I'm not about getting arrested for breaking into a church so I can post it on Facebook. But anyway, this is St. John's, and it's very beautiful. It has stained glass windows. They have little benches out here that you can sit down. And they have weekday masses Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. They have the Saturdays 5 and 7. 7 o'clock is Spanish church. 7:30 and 9 and 11 and 1 p.m. on Sunday. So again, this is St. John's, the Evangelist Catholic Church. And I don't know if this is the parsonage here. For those of you who don't know religious language, the parsonage is where the pastor lives, preacher lives, priest. In the case of the Catholic Church, it would be a priest, not a pastor per se. And then this is the St. Margaret Bauer Evangelical, easy for me to say, evangelization, whatever it is, evangelization. You can tell I'm out of these sort of things. Center. And I'm not sure what they do there, but again, this is all the church, and this is the Eichel Parish Center, and the church office is back that way. But we're not going to actually go. You can hear the birds singing. This is a flavor of Frederick. So this is 2nd Street in Frederick. And again, this is the beautiful Catholic Church. I'm just going to look back here and see if they have a little memorial garden back there that's open to the public, and it looks like they do not, or if they do, is not an easy access that I can find to go in. So I'm going to, as I chat with you, I'm going to take a few pictures so you can get a flavor of Frederick. That's what I'm wanting. I should be calling these Bubba the Flavor of Frederick videos, because that's what I'm trying to give you, is just an idea of what goes on in Frederick. So this is a Thursday night. It's pretty quiet. And again, this is the St. John's the Evangelist Catholic Church. And again, those houses on the other side are beautiful. If you can see them, I don't like to take pictures of individual houses because I don't want people coming out and saying, "Why are you taking a picture of my house?" So, I don't want any problems. This is no drama. So again, this is the church, and I'm taking a few pictures. So I hope you'll bear with me. Well, if you're watching the video, you don't have any choice, right? I mean, you could turn it off, but why would you do that? That would be rude. So anyway, well, there is a little area back here. Let me just see what's back here. It looks like it may be a little garden. So I may want to be quieter than I normally have. I want to talk in my inside voice. And here we are. That's a little meditation area. So I'm going to come back here, and I love all of these little statues, and of course I love the roses. That's one thing. Speaking of roses, did you ever see that movie War of the Roses? Oh my. They fought. So there's the Jesus with the young children. There's the roses. And here's a little garden. And it's to the side here of the St. John's Church. So I'm going to head back now down toward Shab Row again. So we're going to return now back to the Shab Row area. So I've got a block to walk. So I've got some time to kill. So if you have any questions then, just send them in and I'll answer them now. Oh, never mind, I'm not live. So I'll just answer questions that I think you'll you would ask if I gave you the chance to ask, if you really had a chance to ask questions. First question was from Rob. Is it hot today? Yes, Rob, it is hot. It's very hot. They have actually put out a heat warning. So I do have water with me. And you can see on the sweat of my brow that it's hot. Okay, let's see if I have any more questions. Yeah, Sharon wants to know, do I miss my days in toll-free? Yes, Sharon, I do. I do miss some of the people. I remember Gail and Jamie, of course, and Chris. They were some of my best friends there. And let's see, what other questions might I get? Well, I see a little bird here. So I'm going to stop answering your questions to watch the bird. This is what I do when I'm taking pictures of birds. I stop and I watch them, and I'm very quiet so that they can do what they need to do and not feel threatened by the big guy with the camera. And there we go. So I didn't get a good picture of that with my camera because I'd have to put down the phone, and you would be like, where did he go? And blah, 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 blah. So, but now the bird is there in the tree looking down on me. Let's hope I'm going to have to rush by so it don't poop on me. But so anyway, again, there's the St. John's Church, the Prospect Hall Church. I'm heading back toward Shab Row, and I am really sweating. Every once in a while, something pops in my head, and I start to think, should I say that or should I save that for another day? So my jokes about how I'm sweating, I'm going to save for another day. But so here we are heading back towards Shab Row. So again, we're on 2nd Street, for those of you following. And it's a beautiful night, quiet night. Anthony Owens Remodeling and Repairs. If you need some repairs done in Frederick, Anthony Owens. I think that's Chuck and them's cousin. But he does great work. I see his name all over town. I really don't know, but I'm afraid if his sign's there, he might be in one of these buildings, so I don't want him to think I'm bad-mouthing him. So anyway, I'm walking downtown. There's some pretty flowers. Again, I don't like taking pictures of people's houses, but there are pretty houses here up 2nd Street. I always thought it was a very pretty area. But so I would get up every morning at about 5:30, 6 o'clock and deliver the Frederick newspaper. Well, I delivered actually the Frederick newspaper, the Baltimore Sun, the Baltimore News American, the Washington Star, the USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Star at one point, the Hagerstown Herald, the Frederick paper. So imagine how confusing that would be. You're responsible for all of those papers. But my father would get up, bless his heart, every morning. The first thing I would hear in the mornings would be Dad up listening to the radio. It was the country music radio. And then he would be wrapping my papers. So I'd hear the rubber bands where he'd be snapping them to get them together. And he knew who got more than one paper. He'd have them ready for me. And if they were heavy, he would have them in my bag, half of them, so I could do part of the route and then come back and get the rest. But I did them on a bike, so he always had my papers ready for me. And I could smell his cigars, and he smelled his coffee. He drank coffee every morning. And he always had my papers ready. But I always loved this about him is that, parents are the first people that believe in you completely. And people would sometimes complain when I would deliver the papers. They'd either say, oh, it wasn't on the porch, or it wasn't there early enough, or whatever. And so Dad would get the papers first, and he would take the complaints off, and he would say to me, oh, that such and such up on Mount Olive Boulevard complained again. She complains about everything. I'm sure you did it right. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I wouldn't worry about it. So he was always telling me, I know you did it right, so don't worry about it. But I always appreciated that about him. But anyway, so that was what he always did. I always had him ready for me. And then he would know when I should be getting home. So if I would be late, he'd be concerned. So when he went to work, he would see me and he would know that either I was on time and right or something was wrong. So I always knew that he had my back, he knew. And he drove a truck right across the street. One of these days I'll go up to the old mill. It's not the mill anymore, but it used to be the farmer's co-op, and that's where he worked. And he loved it up there. So anyway, now we're back to Shab Row, and I'm going to walk across if I can get over here. I don't see the button you push to get across, but so anyway, I wanted to tell you about this building. This is down the... Hi! I have no idea who that is. So I'm at the Roads and Rails store, and somebody has just beeped at me. And I have no idea who it is, but I don't want to get run over. So I've got to be careful and get across safely. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, so that was Melissa's aunt and uncle. Yeah, that's funny. At first I didn't know who it was. So here we are. This is the Roads and Rails Museum, Miniature Train World, Frederick's largest work of art. Well, my. Not just Frederick's work of art, it's Frederick's largest. To what? Each church. Okay, church goes this way, so you're past it, but if you go up 2nd here, and then go all the way past Market Street, and then you can get back to church. Okay. So that's the other thing you find. People ask you questions. So anyway, this is the Frederick's largest, what did I say it was? Whatever I said. It looks like it has a Christmas village in there. I'm going to have to come when they're open sometime. Lego, Thomas the Friends, electric trains, Lionel. So anyway, the significance of this building for me is this was the home of the Frederick News Agency. Not the Frederick News Post, but the Frederick News Agency, where I worked and delivered newspapers. And I would come here, the papers would come here from all the different printing places, and we would deliver them. So I have finished my journey today. This is a long video. I don't know if it'll let me post it. So if it doesn't, like no one's going to watch a 23-minute video. Maybe Rob. Okay, have a good night.